My name is Jen Cushman. I am an empathic intuitive. I am the founder and owner of Soul Star Magic, and I am also a mixed media artist and instructor and do neurolinguistic programming and mental emotional release. And if you guys want to learn about any of that, just let me know. Okay. So, all of that stuff, I have a lot of tools in my toolbox to help people with, and anything that you're interested, just let me know. Okay. Okay. So for the second week in January, what I really want to talk to you about is I want to start the year right off the bat talking about how you can start learning and trusting your intuition. Okay. Trust those gut feelings that you have. Trust that knowing feeling you get inside of your body when your body lights up and it tingles, and how to really start using your intuition and your connection with your higher self and spirit to help you lead a more peaceful, harmonious, better life, more empowered life. Okay, that's the topic for today. And it's a big one. That's what I really want to discuss with you today. There are always themes that come out every single year at the end of the year when I do my wheel readings. And because my wheel readings got started really late in 2023, they didn't get started until after Thanksgiving. I am continuing them along with my team. We're continuing them through the month of January. If you get a wheel reading from me and it's later in January, it's no worries. I'll just pull an extra card and we'll just, keep things going. But we have a long year ahead of us. So there's a lot of information to be given and had during the wheel readings. The other thing about the wheel readings, the theme that came up, and it came up in my talk last week about the energies of 2024, is we are not having clear-cut completion energy from the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024. So January 1st didn't just start, it started a new calendar year, but it didn't start the new year's energetically. For most of my clients and for a lot of the energies, we are still going into completion energy all the way through the end of January, which is probably why my real readings got started so late. And it's okay if they continue all the way through the month of January, is because we are still completing a lot of the energy from 2023, which was a very spiritual year. It was a 7 universal year, which was a very spiritual year of going within. The call last year, if you remember, you might not, but if you remember January 1st, 2023, the theme of the year that I gave you was the Hermes Trigonomegastus line that I love, spiritual law, as above, so below, as within, so without, which really means that we take our information from spirit, we take it from above in the other realms, the fifth, sixth, seventh, 12th, all the other higher dimensions, and we bring it down into our physical reality of Earth. Now, whenever we create anything, we create it twice. We create it first in the spiritual plane, in our thoughts, our mental plane, and the spiritual plane. And then we also create it in the physical plane. So as above, so below. So that was a lot of what was going on. For many people, 2023 was a tough year because it was such an internal year. And there was a lot of release work that needed to happen. You guys, everybody who is here with me, you are light workers. You are here for a purpose. You are here to raise the higher consciousness of this planet. And you chose to be here at this time for a very important mission. We all have our own life purpose. And part of what our life purpose is to live our lives, know ourselves, and discover our life purpose. Last year was a big year for discovering ourselves and for life purpose. This year, 2024, is really about taking those discoveries, that internal knowing of who we are, and doing what we want with it this year. The 8 year is a magical manifestation year. Eights are abundance, they're prosperity, they are financial wealth. They are really getting the return on what you put out. Remember, what you focus on is what you create. This year is where you're going to start seeing the results of what you created. Now, the reason why the energy didn't end straight on January 1st is because we still have work to do. In NLP, we call it cleanup, right? So that is, we do the mental, emotional work. And then, like layers of an onion, you have to peel layers of the onion, and then we have to go back in and we have to clean it up. It means we have to just continue releasing and dealing with those ideas that we have. Now, shadow work and release work sounds scary. And one of my goals and my missions in life and my purpose is to let people know that shadow work is not scary, it is necessary. It's not particularly easy because we actually have to go back into our programming, our childhood, the events that happened to us, the way we were raised, the beliefs that our parents had that put on us that we came as ours. And that is our work, is to look back at our childhood and really keep the things that are serving us and let go of the things that aren't. And that is a really cool thing. We really get to move the needle on our lives when we're willing to do this deep introspective work. So part of my mission is to celebrate that. Okay. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about today that's really interesting and talking about listening to your gut intuition is, I think you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it very clearly again. We have four bodies, the humans, we all have four bodies and we have three selves. Okay, that's the way it works. We have a spiritual body, we have a mental body, we have an emotional body, and we have a physical body. Okay, so we are not just physical bodies. We have minds, we have hearts, and then we have a connection to spirit or source or higher energy, divine love, divine intelligence, however you define that something bigger and greater than you. It goes under a big umbrella called spirituality, right? So that is our spiritual body. Now, that could be, for depending on your belief system, that could very well be a connection to higher source. That could be the way I believe, which is my spirit guides, my angels, who are all working directly in connection with source. So when I go to do my work, I'm an open channel with source. So we've talked about that. I raise my energy, they lower their energy, their vibration, our frequency, so we can match, so I can start, getting and channeling the information. Now, if you don't have a belief in a higher source, all you really need to believe in is your higher self, okay? Your higher self. That is your soul self. That is your eternal self, right? That is your self who, if you believe in past lives, you know yourself from past lives, you know yourself now, and also your higher self knows all potential future timelines for yourself. So, and I always have to say potential future timelines because we have free will. So we have potential in the future, and the decisions we make, the choices we make, is what makes those timelines a reality. So, in addition to our four bodies, we have three selves. We have our higher self, which is our soul self. We have our conscious mind, which is our thinking mind. And in our conscious mind is where our ego resides. And our ego is our personality. Okay. So, I have a very distinct personality. Ken has a very distinct personality. Lori has a very distinct personality. Deborah, everybody on here, you guys, Susan, you all have very distinct personalities. And I do too. And our personality is in our ego and it's in our conscious mind. Okay. And then we have our unconscious mind. And I put my unconscious mind lower in me, but in reality, it's all neuroscience. And it's just located in different parts of our brain. Neurologically, scientifically, our higher self is found in one area, and they've mapped the brain. So, but for demonstrative purposes, I like to put higher self here, conscious self here, and unconscious self here. Okay. Now, here's why this is important to know this stuff. We think that most of our lives we are living in our conscious mind. That's because that's what we're thinking about. That's what we're aware of, right? Got to feed the dogs today, got to go on a walk today. I have this meeting today. I need to get this done, right? That's our conscious mind. Our calendar resides in our conscious mind. Now, our unconscious mind is like our supercomputer. That is an all-knowing. It really is like a computer. Every single bit of information that we take in every single second of every single day, our unconscious mind sees it and knows it and retains that information. Our unconscious mind's job is to run the body. That's to tell us to breathe, right? We don't think about breathing, we just breathe. We don't think about our heart beating, it just beats, right? So running the body is part of the unconscious mind. Our immune system is found, like running the immune system is found in the unconscious mind. Our dreams are in the unconscious mind. So our unconscious mind works in symbology, right? It works in metaphor and story. That's why when we watch movies, we can get so into the story. It's because our conscious mind, we think we're thinking about it, but really our conscious mind is just checking out and hanging back. And it's our unconscious mind that is in taking all that information and really getting into the stories. So it's our unconscious mind. Our unconscious mind is also what remembers all of our childhood, right? It remembers every experience we've ever had. So it remembers any trauma, it remembers any significant events, anything that's really happened to us that is in the negative that we hold on to. And so that's where those limiting beliefs and those old stories and those old patterns of being, they reside in the unconscious mind. Okay. So we got that, right? So we've got the four selves, the four bodies and the three selves. So what I want to show you is the unconscious mind. I'm just going to give you a little diagram. I don't know if you can see this, but you can see spirit is up here. This is your higher self. This is our conscious mind, and this is our unconscious mind. Spirit comes in and talks to our higher self, okay? Our higher self doesn't actually talk to our conscious mind. Our higher self talks to our unconscious mind, and then our unconscious mind talks to our conscious mind. So our conscious mind is the goal setter, right? It's the beginning of the year. How many of you here have said, you know what I mean? I'm going to lose weight this year. I'm going to return to health, or I'm going to make more money, all of those kind of things, right? That is our conscious mind who makes these goals. And then our unconscious mind is the goal getter, right? So that's the one that says, conscious mind says, okay, unconscious mind, we are going to make more money this year. We're going to make better choices. We're going to eat better choices. We're going to, we're going to drink more water. All of those things come from our conscious mind. And then our unconscious mind says, cool, that's awesome. Let's do this. Okay. Now, what happens is because our unconscious mind has our baggage, right? Our emotional baggage, all of that stuff. It has memories of everybody who's hurt us and wronged us. And, all of those terrible events that have happened to us, our unconscious mind knows and remembers all of that. So let's say that our conscious mind right here says, okay, we're going to drink more water. Unconscious mind says, cool, we're going to drink more water. And then all of a sudden you start going along and then, something happens and you just veer off course. Self-sabotage happens. It happens here between the unconscious mind and the conscious mind. Okay. So we can talk more about that in the year. Okay. I just kind of want you to understand the big picture overview of how this works. So today's topic, the reason why I wanted to show you that is we are really talking about how to make sure you can listen to your intuition and your gut feelings better and why it derails. So that was the big picture overview of this. So your gut instincts come in, right? It hits your gut. It's a physical thing. It's like when you get a gut instinct on something, your body is reading the energy, okay? Your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, your heart, everything is out there. We've got our feelers out all the time and we are constantly receiving information. So you'll get a gut hit, you'll get a gut hit and it's your body that is actually responding because you can feel it, right? And we can totally feel it when it hits our gut. We're like, oh, wait, I don't know about that. You'll meet somebody and all of a sudden you'll be just like, I don't know. I have a gut instinct that I don't trust that person, right? So that is your gut. That is your information. That is your body's way of walking into the world to make sure that you are safe and that you are just on the lookout for what's going on. Okay. Now, that neurology, that gut instinct can it can be wrong sometimes. It's usually not, but it can be wrong sometimes if you are running on fear. Okay. So let's say you have a limiting belief or something's going on in your life that comes from childhood, and a situation comes up that evokes that same fear of when you are from your childhood. Your gut gets a little bit haywire because your nervous system is really on hypervigilance. So that's the one thing where sometimes your gut instinct, if it's going from fight or flight, it could be a little bit off because fear is getting in there. Okay. That's the extreme. Most of the times, our gut instincts are right on. And that is because our higher self is working with our unconscious mind and leading us in the direction of our dreams. It is leading us to what we want to do to become the best version of ourselves. Okay. So, intuition, building our intuition happens in all four bodies and with all three selves. And this is the neuroscience behind it, right? This is the physical description of why this happens. I have spent a lot of my life trying to figure out who I am and how did I know things from a very young age that I shouldn't have known, right? What is psychic abilities? What is intuition? Why do I know things that nobody told me about, right? I've spent a lifetime trying to figure that out, which is why I was drawn to psychology and communication and all of those things, and that's the path I've been on. And this is a helpful way of me to finally understand the structure and the science of what intuition is. It's real, and this is how it works. Okay. So, our higher self is our soul self. It is always looking out for us. It always knows what is the best possible choice. It knows what the best possible path is. Any single problem that we create for ourselves, and trust me, we must take responsibility for every problem we have in some way. Okay. Yes, there are other people involved, and yes, we can't control what other people do, but we can always control ourselves, and we can always control how we think about things and how we act. And that is taking responsibility for ourselves. Okay. So we'll create a problem. And our higher self already knows the answer. And a lot of times, that answer, the truth, lies in our heart, right? Our emotional center. Our heart is an amazing body for ourselves, that emotional center of us. So, if you want to develop your intuition, I've said this a lot, we really need to figure out how to get quiet, and we need to have to settle down the mind chatter, because this is the mind chatter. These are the thoughts. These are the negative loops. These are where those unhealed emotions, those unhealed stories will run their pattern in our brain. And so we need to calm that down so we can get into our heart, so we can hear our higher self intuition. I call it hearing the whispers of our soul. People tell me they don't know what that means. Like, what do you mean you help people hear the whispers of their soul? That's what this means. I help people to calm down the monkey mind so they can get into a quieter, more expansive state by the energy that I put out and my intention that I put out, so they can drop into their heart space. And then I ask questions, and then I get downloads, and I get intuition, and then I'm able to lead them into a direction that gets into their heart so they can have more clarity and they can feel better about themselves, right? That's what that is. Okay. Now, this is where I said I was going to bring up Anne really quick. So, Anne and I had a wheel reading the other day. And one of the things that came up is, we're just talking about normal confusion, right? Just normal life. And how do you know if you're doing the right thing? Or, if somebody's doing this and it's your partner, how much control do you actually have over your partner? And I'm like, not a lot, right? Mostly we have control over ourselves. So one of the things I was talking to Anne about was really getting back into her higher self and get back into her conversations with spirit, because Anne has a really incredible faith, and she talks to her angels all the time when she gets into that space of being able to do that. So, one of the things I taught her that I want to teach you guys today too is that if you really want to start listening to your intuition better, one of the things you need to do is really stop and breathe, right? You just need to stop for a minute. When you feel that mind chatter, that stuff going on, just literally recognize the mind chatter is happening and then put your hand on your heart and take a breath. Okay. And then if that feels good, take another breath. And if that feels good, take a third breath. Okay. It usually takes 3 breaths to get our brain from the beta state down into the next state, the more, the quieter expansion state. 3 breaths is what it usually takes. So if you can take 3 breaths, you can drop into your heart. And then if you can just get quiet for a minute, what you can just ask yourself, right? You can ask yourself 2 ways. You can either say, higher self, you know, what am I to do here? Like ask the question of what the problem is. What am I to do here? Or you can also ask your unconscious mind. Dear unconscious mind, what is the solution? What do I need to do right now? Right now, what is the next best step for me right now so I can feel better? Okay? What can I do to feel better? And then just keep your hand on your heart and listen. And then here is the key about trusting your gut. Trust. Trust what comes in. If it feels peaceful, if it feels calm, if it feels centered and grounded, it is your truth. It is your soul whispers and your heart whispers. Okay. If it's scary, if it's fearful, if it starts immediately running a loop of like, and it tells you every reason why that's not true, that is your monkey mind. That is your ego talking. Okay. Now, ego is hugely important, you guys. Ego's role is to keep us safe. That's its job, is to keep us safe. Okay. So once we know we're talking to our ego, you can literally just laugh at the ego a little bit, just giggle and just be like, you know what? Thanks for keeping me safe. In the past, that worked for me. Or maybe it really doesn't work in the past and it's old programming and it's self sabotage and it's keeping you stuck. Then you just say to the ego, you know what, ego? I appreciate you trying to keep me safe. And I have to tell you, I trust my heart. I trust my soul self. And I know that if we go in this direction, not only are we going to be safe, we are going to be empowered. Okay. So that's the key to it. So trust your gut. And here's back to Anne, because I promised it. So I told Anne to do that, right? Anne was having a moment and she wrote me this email and she said to me, and she's like, Jen, I feel so calm and so peaceful after the wheel reading. I feel like I can really tackle my 2024. I know there's going to be ups and downs because life gives us ups and downs and there's challenges. And I now know that I can just dip into my heart at any time. So the other day she was having a challenge and she put her hand on her heart and she asked, what am I to do next? What is the next right step? Just like I taught her. And what she heard was, go clean the garage because that's where her inventory is for her Etsy store, right? So, and that's her creative outlet. That's what she loves to do, is to sell on Etsy. So, so her next right step was simply to get off the couch, to get out of the room, to stop the mind spinning and to go into her inventory and start shuffling and cleaning and doing something, because that was going to motivate her and help her feel better. So then she can take baby steps from that step to the next right step to the next right step and listen to her gut intuition, right? And then what she said to me, and she said, Jen, it was so simple. And that, my friends, is the truth. We are really not meant to struggle. We make our lives a lot harder than they need to be. Source, God, spirit, universe, divine intelligence, mother, father, God, goddess, God, whatever you want to call it, truly wants us to experience divine through them, and they want to experience, he, she, whatever, wants to experience divinity through us, because we are a spark of that divinity. And so, you know what? Divine doesn't want to suffer. It doesn't want us to suffer. It wants us to experience the spark of our divinity in our humanity. It wants us to feel joy, to feel love, to feel accomplishment, to feel proud. It's like, oh, I'm getting emotional. I'm crying again. That happens every time Source really moves me. I still get so emotional. That's what Source wants. That's what our higher self wants for us. That's what our intuition wants for us. Okay. So that's the process. And I just want you to know it because in 2024, because it's an eight energy and we have so much to accomplish this year if we want to. There's so many results we can get. Like, this is the year. If you want financial abundance, this is your year to get it. You just got to get clear on your stuff. Get those three selves, those four bodies and those three selves all moving in the same direction. And literally, manifestation goes like this. It gets so good, you literally think it and you create it, right? You have it come in. And then we have the energy of the 8 year to amplify that. And then I'm an eight personal year, right? So I've got the eight energies of the year to amplify it. Plus, I have my own personal number to amplify it. So hopefully, if I can do exactly what I'm teaching you and telling you here, I should be on fire. 2024 should be my best year yet. And if it can be my best year yet, then you can model me and it can be your best year yet. Okay. So that's how you trust your intuition. That's why you should trust your intuition. And that's actually how your intuition works. Okay. Okay.